Uh-oh. Yep. Uh-oh.
I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks. The men are not okay. The men have no friends.
Men have fewer friends than ever, and it's harming their health. The male friendship recession is having dire consequences.
No girl.
What's behind the rise of lonely single men? Well, I mean, probably a lot of things.
Girlfriend. No college.
Generation of American men give up on college. I just feel lost. Yeah, that sucks.
College education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones to—
It's finally over. From 5'5" to 6'0". What if they measured him in like a year after this and it turned out that he was 5'11"? Because like, I feel like that's kind of the same thing as 5'5", right? Yeah, does he get his money back? Does he get to sue them? Like, how does that work? I mean, by the way, I don't think this is like anything wrong with men. I mean, like, girls get boob implants all the time, right? They get the Brazilian fucking butt lift stuff too. So like, I don't think this is really that surprising.
Be a few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addiction.
I've seen these where it's like Master Chief explains to you why you shouldn't jerk off to incest porn. Master Chief convinces you to clean the dog poop out of your bathtub. No, I'm serious. Like, bro, like, I'm not kidding. Now, I'm not gonna watch one of these because if I do, I'll probably have to jump out the window. But I just want you to know that it exists.
You deserve real love.
Oh,
Turns
God.
out the society that was built by and allegedly for men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking, oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by Shoe on Head. Yes. And if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else.
The man question.
Men are in a crisis.
I don't know how people drink energy drinks. What the hell? What? They taste good? Bro, I've never had one. I had like 2 sips. I said nope.
And it seems nobody really cares. And the people who do care just seem like the people who want to sell them shit. Not me.
Yeah, there's like guys like, yeah, I really care about your problems. Please subscribe to my fucking newsletter for $25 a month and it'll tell you how to grow chest hair. And that's what you need. You need to get chest hair, aviator sunglasses, and you have to only wear fitted jeans. And if you do that, you're gonna actually be cool.
I'm different. So before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Holzkern. Holzkern is a young Austrian company that designs unique—
You guys remember whenever Summit got his sponsorship dropped from Monster because he was smoking weed on stream? And I went and I said that you know what Monster Energy should do is they should have a competition. Have somebody that smokes weed nonstop next to somebody who drinks Monster Energy drinks nonstop, and let's see who dies first. And I heard through the grapevine that Monster Energy is not willing to work with me in any capacity whatsoever.
Crafted watches.
Because I was right.
And jewelry made from all natural materials. Their high-quality timepieces come in various designs for both men and women, making them the perfect gift for any occasion. They're a great blend of function and fashion, and overall I just think they look very classy, especially the men's watch collection. I was pretty impressed with the silver casing and blue marble dial of the Naturalist watch, which made for a great gift for my boyfriend. He especially loved the casual yet stylish appearance, making it an ideal choice to wear both at work and at home. I'm also really happy with the watch I picked out.
I've never worn a watch.
It's made from—
Well, actually, I wore a watch in like 4th grade and I lost it.
From black and white marble and features a nice black leather bracelet that just feels so comfy. They also create elegantly crafted earrings, very unique handbags, sunglasses, and necklaces, like this rose marble elevation necklace. It makes a really memorable and unique gift for a loved one. All of their products have a 24-month warranty, and ordering online is super easy.
Bro, XQC's watch was way more than this. Yeah, I mean, come on.
free shipping to the US and most EU countries within 2 to 5 days. So if you want to get yourself a good quality watch and support the channel, I highly recommend checking out their store and clicking the link in the description below. Use my special code SHOE15 at checkout that will give you 15% off for all products store-wide. So go to the link down below and choose your own unique piece of nature. Thank you Holzgren for sponsoring this video, and thank you the viewer as always for not skipping the ad.
Why are men and boys struggling? And what should we do about it?
A few new studies have come out that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men. The women in
I think also, you know, there's a bit of this, like, I think, yeah, it's societal, but there's also a lot of guys that, it's like if you spend your time growing up jerking off to weird porn to the point to where by the time that you turn 18, you're only sexually attracted to animals that don't exist. I think this isn't healthy either. Like, there's a lot of dudes that, like, whenever they see a girl without makeup on, they think that there's, like, something wrong with her.
Children, too. It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030.
Well, that's
According
exciting.
to the media, this is a good thing. The she-economy
Why do they say it's a good thing? Oh, because it's retailers saying it's a good thing. Yeah, it's probably true for retailers.
booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men
What is she doing with her face?
are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right.
Yeah, men, stop listening.
It's, yeah. No, I mean, bro, there are so many, like I've listened to some of these, like, female rapper songs, and they're just as bad. Who the fuck was it that, like, admitted to, like, drugging and having sex? Was it Cardi B? I think it was, right? Yeah. So, like, I don't want to hear that shit. It's the music. Oh, really? That's an argument I haven't heard for 20 years.
To that derogatory music, then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely
I feel like a lot of the guys that are really single and lonely on the internet, they're not listening to that music. They're listening to, like, the Lord of the Rings soundtrack or the Divinity Original Sin 2 soundtrack. Like, they're not listening to rap.
There might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source, I read about it on the internet, research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift—
Y'all want to see a chart that's pretty cute? This chart right here, from 2008 to 2018, within 10 years, it went from 8% to 27% dudes that can't get a girlfriend and hook up with a chick. You know what came out in 2008? Wrath of the Lich King. Funny little fact there. But, yeah, there you go.
Towards white-collar jobs and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori. Did I say that right?
Probably not.
I don't care. Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society.
I don't see this as a problem. I think, like, and there's also girls that do this in Japan, too. I think it's probably like a 90-10 or like 80-20 thing where it's mainly guys that do it. But there are girls that do it as well. And I think that the reason why is that, like, living life can be really fucking annoying. Especially whenever you're always having to do things that you don't want to do. Because you think about it, right? And you wake up in the morning and you just got done going to a school for a degree you didn't really want to get. And now you're going to a job that you don't really want to work at. You drive through traffic or sit through a train that takes an hour while you're playing a gacha game that you don't have enough money to buy the good characters, so you keep losing to people that are like some oil prince in Dubai keeps farming you. You finally get to work, and you have to work there for 12 hours a day, and if you leave before the boss does, then you get fired. So then after all of this stuff happens, you get home, it's another 2 hours on the subway, losing to another oil prince, or sorry, maybe some trust fund kid in America is now farming you in Fate Grand Order, like, I don't know, one of those fucking gotcha games. I don't even know if that one's PvP or not, but it doesn't matter. Point is still the same. You get home, and then now you have to, now you play a video game that you fucking hate. You play League of Legends, but you stopped liking League of Legends in 2017. That was 6 years ago. And to you, it feels like yesterday, but everybody else has moved on. And you're still in gold. And you were in gold in 2017. Things aren't moving forward. You don't have a girlfriend. You stay up late playing League, thinking to yourself, just one more game. I'll see if I can get my placement game for the next rank. And then you get to your placement game and you lose. You go to bed, it's late, and you're mad, and you wake up the next morning and you didn't get enough sleep for work, and then the cycle repeats itself, right? So what is it a surprise that people are like, you know what, fuck this, like, I'm done, like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to live this life. What's the point of it? Yeah, it's like, what are you, like, what are you working towards? I think that's really what the problem is that, like, people don't have a North Star. Like, for example, like, back in the old days, right? In, like, the 50s and, the idealized time, you've got, like, Jesus, and you've got, like, you're going to have a family, and it's like, you don't need to worry, like, and there's also, like, you don't have to worry, right? Because in the 50s, it's like, Russia's going to nuclear bomb us, and we're all going to be dead, and I'm going to know about it, right? And so there's, like, not only is there, an afterlife, but there's also the free-spiritedness of, like, this could all be over at any second. So it's like, I think people don't have a North Star anymore. They don't have anything to work towards. There's nothing that they can do. It's because more intelligence equals more life concepts equals life is harder. Yeah, exactly. Top it off, your parents had a hard time getting the healthcare they need. Oh yeah, of course, right? And then this is a problem for you as well that's compounded on top of your problems. Yet you can't buy a house, but you can work towards Apex Predator in Apex Legends. Yes.
Themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time. In 2010,
I've done this. I remember whenever I graduated high school, I wanted to spend an entire year and not talk to anybody. There would be like whole weeks I would be able to get away with it. God damn, that was fucking good.
There was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan.
700,000.
And today it's estimated to be about 1.55 million.
That's a lot of Genshin Impact players.
And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact and reintegrate them back into society. So basically, if you want to know America's future,
well, they're fucked.
Look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology. RIP to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us—
Ted Kaczynski knew. He said, fuck that industrial revolution shit. Yeah, no, so this guy, that guy, alright, so Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber, so he wrote like a massive fucking manifesto, and the FBI spent like $50 million to try to get his ass. They did get his ass. And recently, he's been in jail for a long time. He finally died recently. And anyway, he did all of this stuff. And what else? So basically, like what he said is that he wanted basically the larger scale of society causes people to lose their sense of individuality and self, because there is like a governing apparatus that suppresses their life. And that happening was like enabled by the Industrial Revolution. And but guys, I'm not saying, oh wow, the crazy guy that blew people up was right. I'm just explaining who the guy is and what he thinks. Okay, I'm just saying this is what he said.
more atomized? Why go to the mall when I can just tap, 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 buy a new microphone and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers? Why go on dates and bother meeting women when I could just tap, 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 Google big boob and get 2 million results? Or see my...
It's more than that now. And also, the better thing now is that people are getting AI girlfriends and stuff. Like, sometimes whenever I see something really fucked up on the internet, I'll screenshot it so I don't forget about it. And, like, I've been seeing a lot of these advertisements recently. Have you guys seen these? Advertisements for, like, these AI girlfriend websites? Dude, there's so many of them. Like, Replica? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the big one. And, like, you're going to have even more of those. And I think people are going to have... I think it's not as close as we might think to it being socially acceptable. But, like, here's a really good way to say it, okay? Is that if you go and you watch Emaru at, or like Miz or Tectone or any of the people at fucking Anime Expo, there are people walking around Anime Expo with body pillows. And, like, it's gone from being... This is something that only the biggest fedora-wearing losers do, to it being kind of funny. And it going from being fucking weird to a joke is a step up in accepting it. Right? And so I think the AI girlfriend stuff is going to happen. Are they crunchy? Probably.
High school crushes holes on OnlyFans for only $5.
Yeah.
Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction.
There's
and
even... Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, she knows. And there's this... Like, there are these girls on Instagram, or not... Oh, fuck, not Instagram. OnlyFans. OnlyFans, Fansly. One of the big things that these girls make money with is, like, doing, like, obviously, like, there's girls say, like, oh, I'm doing customs, right? And that's, like, you know, you tell, like, oh... you know, do this and I'll give you $10. And, you know, they do it and they give you $10. But, like, there's also girls that, like, dudes will pay money just to send them messages and to talk to them. It's straight up just like strippers. But the best thing about it is that a number of these girls, and this is not really like a huge secret, they're not even answering the messages. It's like, maybe it's like a dude answering the messages. They hire dudes. Yeah, they hire people to answer their messages. Isn't that insane? Yes, and also, if you don't believe that, Andrew Tate literally did this. He said that. Yeah. AI, no need to hire? Yes, and remember, was it Amarath or was it some other girl that was going to make like an AI version of themselves to talk to people? And they were making tons of money off of it, too.
who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend? We're so fucked. Dating apps really are the great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and
Well, that's what makes sense that women are picky. You look at it biologically, some dude hooks up with a girl, fucking busts a nut, bro, he's down the road. Meanwhile, she's got to deal with this shit for 9.5 months. Like, evolutionarily speaking, it makes sense that girls have to be more picky. 18 years? Well, I mean, that's only because of the law, right? Yeah, I've listened to the Kanye West song you're referring to. I know what you mean. Hoflation is a real thing. Don't downplay it. Hoflation. What is hoflation? Is this a new one? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Is this a new one? Sounds like some Red Bull shit. Yeah, no, it is. But like, the price of hoes is too damn highs. Girls are less hot with higher standards. Girls are less hot with higher standards. I don't know. I mean, guys are less hot with higher standards. Yeah, it's like, how do we not know that's the same? Because like, I get what you're saying, but like I've never used a dating app. Okay, I really mean I've never downloaded Tinder, Bumble, Christian Mingle, Farmers Meet, Plenty of Fish, Grindr. Yeah, I haven't done any of these ever. So I don't really understand this. But, like, whenever I see, like, girls will show me some of the guys that will match with them, and this will be, like, you know, for example, like a 23-year-old girl, and it's a 45-year-old man matching with her, and he's married. He has a picture of him and his wife in, like, his photos because it's connected to Facebook. So it's just like, I don't know. Inflation is real, is it? Like, that is nuts. Searching for a second wife, maybe? Pick a card. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, naturally we are pickier. You know, we're the ones who carry the babies.
Yeah, you
at
have
least
to
for
be.
now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too.
Yep.
According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest. The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 1 in 5 men say they have
2021, I don't know. I feel like that's a bad frame of reference because that was during COVID. Again, I'll read something and try to, like, I'm the kind of person that will, like, read something and then try to find out how it's wrong. Just like that's just how I think. So, like, maybe I'm like overthinking it, but is that true for you guys? Hoflation means a 25-year-old now has to work 40% harder than his grandfather for a woman 40% less appealing than his grandmother was to his grandfather. Okay, let me think about this. A guy has to work harder. Okay, I get it. This is like the thing, is like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like going and like trying to date a bunch of different girls. Like, what the fuck? Like, I have no idea. So it's hard for me to say. The 666 rule in order for a guy to back. Oh yeah, 6 figures, 6 feet, and 6 inches. Yeah, I've heard of that before. The women are also less appealing now because of porn. I think that is true. I think that guys, and like this is just what happens on social media. I think it fucks up people's head on social media where like guys will look at a girl and think that she's ugly because she doesn't look like an anime. She doesn't look like Mikasa from fucking Attack on Titan, you know?
no close friendships. Looking at all these statistics, the explosion of figures like Andrew Tate is not surprising at all.
I believe being a man is a blessing because it starts so difficult.
Oh, I agree with this too. I agree with Andrew Tate with this. You know, people talk about all the advantages that women have and everything like that. True, but like, goddamn, man, every day I wake up, I thank God I was born a man. I'm gonna be honest.
Every man is born without any
I think that also, like, for a lot of you guys that might say, like, oh, no, I don't feel that way, right? Wait till you're 33. Because, like, the perspective you have at 23 versus 33, very different situation.
You at all. I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
And recently, a new study came out about how young men are moving towards the right. And every other month, we, the liberal, sockdem, leftist, whatever you want to call the space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics.
No.
Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate.
Well, it's also, like, a lot of guys, like, to be honest, I think a lot of guys like being abrasive, obnoxious, assholes, aggressive, and guys don't like getting tone policed. And I feel like all the fucking time you get tone policed for acting that way. Constantly. And so that's why I think people go towards that direction, is because they don't want to get tone policed. They don't want to get told what to do. They don't want to get told like, oh, well, you can't make that joke. You can't act that way. Bitch, shut the fuck up. I do what I want. And that's why they do it. It's because you have people that are doing something that in their mind is innocuous. It gets described as something that's completely different. And then they get treated as if that was the intention. And so they say, fuck you. I'm not going to do that. The girl's like, man up. I've always felt like it's so hard to have somebody that will respect you whenever you're vulnerable if you're a dude. Maybe that's the same thing as girls, right? Because like a lot of guys are only sympathetic to girls because they want to fuck her. So like, I have to listen to her cry. It's like doing a daily quest or a weekly quest or like building up a reputation with a faction. And wow, it's like, you know, you get like a really hot girl. It's like Winter Saber Frost Traders. It's like maybe you get like a couple of easy ones. It's like, you know, getting Iron Forge reputation or something like that. So it's like, you know, this girl's not as hard to get. But like, you know, sometimes you want to have the more, you know, interesting and like unique mounts. And so you'll try to farm out like a, you know, Zulian Tiger. And so it takes longer, to do. But like at the end of the day, you know, guys are not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it because this is a means to an end. And so I think that a lot of the generosity and a lot of the like kind of the way that like the advantages that girls enjoy from like male attention and like males like doing things like that and being supportive towards them, that will go away instantaneously as soon as either she gets a boyfriend or she's not attractive to him anymore or something else changes, because it's not actually genuine.
Months ago, during one of the monthly song and dances, some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues. And the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at
the reason why young men flock to alt-right MRA movements, MRA is men's rights activist, is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them for our own sake. Yeah, I think this is like, I don't know if this is like a left or a right thing, because I think actually, I think that, like, I feel like Andrew Tate is like, it's not very compassionate either, but there's like a certain level of like male aggression to the lack of compassion that's more compelling.
Their own spaces for not doing enough to address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should.
Well, there's also a lot of women out there, right? And I see this all the time, is there are a lot of women out there that hate men. Like in the same way that there are these like every time something bad happened, like remember there was that one YouTube channel, and I used this example before. There's this one YouTube channel of this guy who played Red Dead Redemption 2, and the only thing that he did was he would lasso the women suffragettes. Those are the ones that were protesting for the right for women to vote. And, you know, get them out of the town, drag them in the dirt, you know, into the swamp, and like feed them to crocodiles in Red Dead Redemption 2, or put them on like the train track and have them get run over by the train. And like, bro, all the comments were like, dude, good one, bro. Can you do it with like you have like a bull attack them and like knock them off a cliff or something? Oh, it'd be so good. And then like 2 days later, you see a new video come out like, based, bro. Yeah, exactly. And so there are a lot of guys that just simply resent women. And I think there's a lot of women that just simply straight up resent guys. Some reasons being, I think, reasonable and understandable. Some reasons are fucking stupid. And there's a lot of in between. But yeah, that's the reason why you see this, is that like whenever women see this, there are some women, it's like, you know, in their mind, right, their dad was an asshole. You know, maybe they had like bad sexual experiences growing up. You know, something in their mind just fucking happened in their life happened. And like now they fucking hate men. It's the same reason why I think people are racist too. It's like a lot of the people that I think are racist probably had a bad interaction with a person of a certain race, and then that painted their entire perspective on everybody of that race. That's what happens. Yeah, or they didn't have a dad. Yeah, or something like that.
Be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that, you know, men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vosh, who's a popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, "I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't."
I think it's people like 12-year-old white kids or 12-year-old boys in general don't want to be told what to do. Like, I actually think that it's way more simple than people are making it out to be. They don't want to be tone policed by, you know, by women, by teachers, by their parents, by anybody. They want to go on the internet, act like absolute fucking psychotic, racist assholes, watch Aiden Ross or Kai, you know, burn down their house or start a riot, and they fucking love it. And do you know how I know that? It's because I used to be 12. There's not a fucking political, like, manifesto behind this. It's, bitch, shut the fuck up. Don't tell me what to do. That's all there is to it. They're not fascist. They're not Nazis. They don't even care.
Responses to these tweets and this content were very normal, level-headed, and respectful. Me when I lie.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
LMAO, cry about it. Boo
Yep.
f***ing who.
God, what's this here? What are some of these tweets? Let's read them.
LMAO.
There's a young man fighting MRA, while men seem more compassionate men for him. Hassan says LMAO. I think it's true, though. I do. I think this is true. And I think also, like, it's more that the reason why I think it happens is something that's like a lot more general as well, is that a lot of guys don't have strong father figures. Like, they just don't. Like, there's no father figure in their life. There's no, like, guy that, like, tells them, like, what the fuck are you doing, etc. And if they do have a dad, maybe their dad is, like, a loser or something like that. They don't respect their dad for whatever reason. Who knows why? And it's like, that's a huge problem. And I think that guys that grow up without that, they're looking for an internet dad. And I think that's what Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson are. They are internet dads. Fatherless behavior. Yes, I think that's really what it is.
Cry about it. Boo.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
Who.
Another
Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo. Who.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course this is what, bro, like, let's be honest. Like, this is just probably somebody who fucking, they hate men. It's that simple. Like, I don't think that, again, there's not a political ideology behind this. Most of these people have unresolved trauma. And so they go on the internet to let it out.
Grow the f*** up then. Have men considered being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad...
Oh, that's good. About their sad... I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't really find this offensive or stressful at all, or like upsetting, because guys tweet this shit out all the time about girls too, right? I mean, I think this is just like it's just psychotic behavior on the internet.
pathetic lives.
Not really.
Sounds like a person.
You think not really? Dude, I actually think that it's worse for women. Like, I think that, like, whenever there's, like, a girl that has something bad happen to her, I always see guys that are like, yeah, that's what she gets, even if it's something horrible. A good example of this, actually, no, I won't use that one because that one was, like, really, it's, like, very complicated. But, like, yeah, no, but I think that there have been examples of this. I'll have to think of some that are, like, less controversial.
Problem is the lack of compassion for men in the room with us right now. Maybe men are just not good people then. I'm so fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their shit together as human beings.
How much do you want to bet that the girl that wrote this had a boyfriend who was emotionally abusive, that didn't have their shit together, and was an asshole? How much do you want to bet? Like, I bet, like, probably there's, like, a 95% chance this shit happened. Like, I mean, bro, you know this is what it is. 100%. She's projecting. Yeah, they're all projecting. Like, that's what it is. Aren't you doing what she's complaining about, taking men's issues and saying, well, women deal with it more too, as much as I agree there's both sides to it? I think that No, yeah, women do deal with this, and men deal with it too. Yeah. Like, absolutely. What I'm saying is that I think this is a problem of... So here's what I think in, like, a more macro level, right? Is that I think that men and women are dealing with this problem, but the problem with, like, men dealing with it is that men don't have the same level of, like, social structure and social support around dealing with it. You know, like, example is that, like, how many shelters are there for women versus how many shelters are there for men? So it's not that men and women aren't dealing with it. It's that women might have more support from people in dealing with it. But also, as I said earlier, is that the support that women get from dealing with it, especially that comes from men, is not really support. This is just self-serving behavior so the men can fuck them later on down the line. It's complex.
Grow the up. Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over? The left isn't for them. That's why they go right in the first place. We're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right in droves. The problem isn't our messaging, it's them. It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting...
And let's also keep in mind, this is a person that got 1 like on their tweet. Okay? What I mean by that is that nobody actually cares.
LOL.
Yeah.
Cry harder, losers. 90% of all homicides recorded worldwide were committed by male perpetrators.
Oh, fun fact here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure people will. Isn't the majority of domestic abuse actually initiated by women? The domestic violence? Yes. That's cute, isn't it?
We should just get rid of all males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence. By the way, you know the Tumblr feminists who were like...
Just had to tack that one on there.
Like, all men are sexist and rapist, male tears, penises are evil, blah 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 back in the day. Well, this is them now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle. I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin.
I didn't, guys, this was, I swear to God, this wasn't me. This was not me on another account.
You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist, because I recognize most of the sort that look like me are the problem. I may be hideously ugly and pathetic, but at least I'm not a fascist.
Yep.
Thank you for your input, buddy. You're, really helping the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them. for our own sake. I'm sorry, but how is respect women brain dead advice? What advice? Don't rape? Don't be a rapist is bad advice? Help, I have no friends or community, I feel suicidal.
That's it's complicated, right? It is, because so there's like two sides to this that I think are like really important. So like, number one, if you go to PetSmart and whenever you're checking out your dog food, the person says, hey, listen, I know, you know, like this is a thing and I know some people do it, so I feel like I kind of just have to tell you since you're a dog owner, please don't put peanut butter on your ball sack and have your dog lick it off. It's really weird and it's actually against the law. So please don't do that. If the cashier at PetSmart told you that, that would make you upset, wouldn't it? That would make you mad. Right? And so the patronizing nature of telling guys not to be abusive or anything like that, I think that it does kind of fall flat, and it feels like whenever you're telling people this, it's like you're kind of, like by telling somebody this, you presuppose that they need to hear it. Does that make sense? And I think that presupposing that somebody needs to hear it is extremely insulting for a lot of people. However, there are a lot of guys that do not understand the idea of consent. And I'm not talking about saying yes every 30 seconds during sex. I'm talking about saying yes for anything. There are a lot of guys that just do not fucking get it. And I think the problem here, the reason why this happens, is because guys have very little social interactions with women and they don't know how to breach that without feeling weird or without feeling uncomfortable. So it's like because they don't have a frame of reference for what normal social interactions with another person, especially like a girl, is, they don't know how to initiate a conversation about that without feeling tremendously uncomfortable. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, social anxiety. Well, it's social anxiety that comes from social isolation. We should normalize being friends with girls. Most guys are friends with most girls because they can't fuck them. And if they could fuck them, then they wouldn't be friends. That's what I think that's the case for like 95%. And I think another reason why dudes freak out about this shit is that they see guys that sometimes get accused for something and it's, they get falsely accused. And the funny thing about that is it's the same thing about like airplane crashes. The odds are that you're not going to get in a crash whenever you get in an airplane. But people freak out about this. You're way more likely to get killed in a car. But nobody thinks about that. The truth is that like most accusations are real. And the worst part about it is that most sexual assaulters and most sexual pieces of shit, the average amount of victims that they have before it gets reported is 5. Can you fucking believe that? So think about how underreported that is. It's bad. So it's like you have guys that don't know how to interact with a girl. They see other guys that do something that they think, like, because like I bet this happens, right? Where like some girl will come out with like a post about how some guy did something bad, and then there are dudes that are watching it. They're like, wait, I don't think that's bad. And then it freaks them out. So then, because like they're thinking, oh my God, like, am I a piece of shit? Like, no, I'm not a piece of shit. Like, what's wrong with this? And it's like, it's scary. It is. Porn is a big problem for dumb guys not doing what they're watching. Oh, I mean, porn is a problem. Yeah, sure.
Have you considered not raping? Act like a decent fucking human being. It's not hard. Is brain dead advice? Mm-hmm. Brain dead advice like get consent and don't be a Nazi and women are people.
Yeah, the reason why it's not good is the messaging of it is derogatory and condescending. Because like No, of course you don't want to be a fucking Nazi. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, what the fuck? What is this? A Nazi? Like, it's insane. So, like, you get talked to like that, and of course it's going to alienate people. It's the same thing, like I said, at PetSmart.
Up to men struggling with loneliness and depression, like,
Kids, don't be racist.
incredible.
Yeah,
Here's my
patronizing.
actual advice I would give to my teen boys as a leftist. 1. Always get enthusiastic consent. 2. Save the planet. 3. Don't say that. It's actually kind of racist. Like, what the f is this? How does—
I'm sure they're thinking of her whenever they're yelling slurs on Xbox Live whenever she's not in the room. Yeah, I'm sure that's really gonna stop them. Uh-huh.
this address men and their issues? It doesn't. Why does their advice always seem to be, become a liberal? Hey men, here's how to fix all your problems. Agree with me politically. Men flock to the MRA movement because they're the largest beneficiaries of MRA shit. Imagine—
Well, yeah, duh. Of course people are going to flock to things that are beneficial for them. Yeah.
Imagine saying women flock to women's rights activism because they're the biggest beneficiaries of women's rights. Like,
Yeah, of course.
no f***ing shit.
Duh.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Aside from procreation purposes, men have become obsolete. Most women can find other methods of achieving orgasm without a man there. And speaking as a man, most of us are horrid to be around, and I don't blame any woman for just saying, no thanks.
And the thing is, right, is this is the same energy. Kevin's college tips for mad pussy. Number 1, enroll in the history of women. First day, raise your hand. Say, I just want to say that I think history is too much of his story. I'm here for her story. I look forward to a great class. Step 4, sit down. Step 5, collect panties. And that's what I think a lot of these guys are doing. They're telling women what they need to hear just to cross the finish line. They're like, yeah, I'm a feminist for sure. Absolutely. Of course. Yeah. I mean, men are horrible. Yes, so true.
Oh my god, dude. This is what every Just Pearly Things tweet looks like to me. Just with the genders swapped. This is pathetic. You know what fixes
that's
male
that lady
loneliness?
from,
Jerking off. As a man, I'll say this. Sit down, shut up, and beat one out. You'll feel better. I promise.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's wrong. Yeah, wait a second.
Yeah, guys, just beat one out. Just off.
Yeah.
Just watch porn.
What?
That man will be very disappointed in all of you. It's so funny how men feel entitled to a girlfriend. No, you sexist freak. When one side is like, wanting a girlfriend is sexist entitlement, and the other side is like, here's how to get a girlfriend. I don't know, bro. What happened to males just kicking the bucket? Now they just come on here and try to make their loneliness and misery.
They just kill themselves. Oh my god. I wish I could know who these people are. Like, because, like, I wonder, like, I wish I had, like, a spark notes of their life. Because I bet there's probably some bad shit that happened to them, and they're out here expressing it.
Into some social
probably
justice
nuts.
issue.
Themselves,
Oh, trust
yeah.
me. Men are still kicking the bucket. And when they're not giving mind-blowing advice like just to be a liberal, they're outright dismissing men's issues completely.
Of course, 'cause—
it's not our job
yeah.
to educate them. Since men created the problem, they need to take steps to fix it. We have other things to care about. Men can figure out their own problems that they created.
Yeah, it's because it's women that don't like men. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's not that complicated. It's women that have been fucking catcalled and like maybe abused, or they had a dad that was an asshole, or the dad was never around, or something weird happened growing up, and they hate men. Or they date a guy and he cheats on her, and this happens to her 3 times. And after it happens the 3rd time, she hates men. That's just it. There's assholes in a person, they hate men, it's not impossible. Yeah, of course they could just usually be assholes. I just think that, is catcalling really that bad? I think it is, yeah. I think randomly yelling at a person, I think that going up to somebody, I don't know. I mean, I'd say it's bad in like 98 to 99% of circumstances. Maybe there's a situation where it would be okay, but I think that we can pretty safely say 98% no. And it's just rude, right? It's rude, it's jarring.
Again, it's not women's jobs to change how men are socialized. It's a man issue, and y'all need to address that amongst yourselves.
Well, it's not women's job to change how men are socialized. I thought most women were teachers. Well, most teachers were women. Like, that's... Bro, I'm gonna be honest. Like, the main place you get socialized as a kid is in fucking school. So, actually...
Men created their own problems. Men can solve their own problems. The left is busy. Why does the well-being of other people concern me?
Yeah.
Leftist, by the way. It's all systemic issues and societal factors and blah,
Well,
blah.
this is just what people do, right? They just assign somebody else as the other group's status, and then they hate them. And so it's okay for you to dehumanize them because they're not really people, and they don't ascribe to the same ideals that you do. So if we hurt them or do anything to them, it doesn't really matter because they're not really people.
Blah, blah, until it's a man, and then suddenly it's pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
That's
This
right.
problem is just a consequence of the patriarchy. Now take a wild guess about which gender created the patriarchy. Solve your own problems and leave women alone. These people rightly mock the bootstraps rhetoric until the subject is a man, and then it's bootstraps all the way down.
Of course.
They would never talk about any other group this way. It's wild. And it's kind of like...
It's because they don't like them. Like, again... I have a very, at least I believe, I have a very black pill view on things. I think most people don't care at all about ethics. I think they don't care at all about morality. And if they, like people all the time, it's like, oh, I hate slavery? Oh, yeah, but do you hate it enough to not buy the new phone? No, that's different. People don't really give a fuck about any of these things because people have been evolutionarily bred for millions of years to be absolutely fucking ruthless. So I don't believe any of this shit. It's all just a game. And the moment that people have the one opportunity to treat a person the same way that the fucking, cavemen would treat a bison, oh, bro, everybody's getting their spear out and sharpening it. That's just how it is.
Both sides are telling men to pull themselves up by their bootstraps,
Yeah.
but one is like, I'll show you how, and the other is like, fuck off. And when they're
Yeah.
not telling men to straight up fuck off, they're giving the 200 IQ answer that nobody has ever heard before. Just show your emotions, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm not dismissing this problem.
No, there's girls like, there's a lot of girls that will be like, oh, it's okay to be emotional with me. And then whenever you do that, they don't respect you. This is what I've learned. Again, this is another really big black pill perspective. Nobody gives a fuck how you feel. Nobody cares. You will be lucky to have one person in your life that will ever care about how you feel. And that's a lot.
Okay, I've made videos talking about this. Oh, you're crying at your grandfather's funeral?
you do,
Okay, faggot. And studies have shown that men are scared to be vulnerable, even around the homies. And can you blame them when the media
you,
says
Cody. I care
stupid
about you too,
like
Cody,
this?
man.
Fellas,
Yeah.
is it woke to open up to your fellow men and discuss history? Men are
Well, hold up. What the fuck was that? Let me look at that real quick. UK builders go woke. Study finds 3/4 of tradesmen discuss their feelings with colleagues. Wait, that's woke? Wait, what? What is this?
men and discuss history. Men are socialized to believe strength, dominance, and stoicism are behaviors of a real man. Is it any surprise that men are lonely and have less friends nowadays? You have to be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting men. Now,
I think being stoic is a good thing, and I try to be that as much as I can be. With things, I do. I think it's a better way to live. I think that, there's a very clear difference between a person being like emotionally vulnerable in like a certain spot versus somebody just being emotionally unstable.
Now, while a lot of this may be true, men have been so...
Like, and also, like, I used to be much more willing to be vulnerable, and I found, again, this is my experience, what the fuck do I know? I found that my life has never gotten better by being more vulnerable. It's never happened. Like, not once in my life have I ever seen an improvement.
This way for centuries, and this is all relatively a new phenomenon. Toxic masculinity has existed forever. If anything, there's less toxic masculinity nowadays.
Oh, there's way less. Way less.
The cultural embrace of, like, gender nonconformity, femboys, Harry Styles in a dress, Barbie movie, blah 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 blah. My point is, toxic masculinity did not just appear in the mid-2010s. But social media did, and the internet did, and the rise of dating apps did, and the housing crisis, and living in a country where the wealth...
Well, that's the thing, too, is, like, what girl is gonna want to date a dude that lives with his mom? Like, this was always a situation for me, right? And so, like, how the fuck are you gonna buy a house if a house is $600,000? That's a lot of money for a house.
Inequality is worse than it was during the Gilded Age. That all happened recently. Oh my god, the privileged life these poor little boys must have, that their biggest problem is being lonely, i.e. so insufferable that nobody wants to sleep with them. So much more pressing than the poor distribution of wealth causing people to suffer food and housing insecurity.
What if I told you that some of those people who had poor wealth distribution were men?
Boo-hoo, you're lonely and have no friends and are suicidal?
Yeah.
Because feeling alienated under capitalism apparently isn't a thing. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant. Men have been dropping out of college like flies. And what does that get you? Poor men. Which...
it also gets you plumbers that are probably going to make more fucking money than if they finished their degree. Keep that in mind.
Since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time...
Yeah, some plumber is going to have a job in 30 fucking years. Meanwhile, your programming job is going to get replaced by an AI in 2 years. Learn the code, learn to fix a fucking pipe.
Leads to single men, which then leads to lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high suicide rate. In my opinion, leftism at a policy level does a great job addressing the shitty material conditions that in part lead to the problems that men are facing, but then absolutely drops the ball when it comes to everything and anything related to men's cultural issues. Many such cases. And why would a struggling man even want to move left when the left appears actively hostile to them?
The question of whether or not the hashtag online left does enough to appeal to hashtag men has become the question du jour. And, like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murdering and assaulting.
The average young man in America isn't Jeff Bezos. Also, why did this motherfucker...
Yeah, and that's the thing, is, like, nobody... This is what I said about, like, this, fucking, the racism stuff that people get into. Is, like, everybody always wants to talk about statistics and averages. It's like, oh, well, it's okay for me to be racist because another race commits crime more often. Oh, really? But here you are crying about how men get perceived this way, and men commit crime way fucking higher than women do. Like crazy higher, you know? And the thing is, the reason why nobody likes that is because it is, at the fundamental level, dehumanizing. You are taking a person and you are turning them into a statistic. You are removing their personality, you're removing their feelings, their lived experience, their life, their feelings, and you are saying you are bad because this graph says so. Well, a person's not a graph, but it's very easy to treat people like a graph if you don't like them. Hypocritical too? Oh, everybody's hypocritical. You should never... I know that it's like porn for stupid people on the internet to try to point out hypocrisies. Everybody's hypocritical about everything. There's no reason to even... People just do what's good for them at the time being. That's it. Now, sometimes people don't have the option to do that, and then they play it off as if they're, following through with their principles, but I think that's usually not the case.
Just FBI crime statistics at me. Men do the most murder.
They do.
Okay?
They do.
They like having all of the stuff
Massively.
they don't deserve. They like that. They want it to stay that way because it suits them. because of the stuff, telling people they're special and deserve all the nice shit that they have, that's going to be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff and other people should have more.
Yeah.
Leftism is when you don't have a lot of stuff. We're gonna take your stuff. You sound like a 65-year-old Fox News boomer's idea of what the left is. Are you a CIA agent? The right is saying to men, you will own a house. You will have beautiful children with your loving wife. You will have privacy. You will have free speech. You will own things, and you will be happy. And the left is like...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But don't get me wrong,
Yeah, it's not a very good message. It's really not. Does it get easier to cope at 30? I think that as a guy, you continuously level up over the years. And whenever you're starting out, like a 21-year-old girl has like the intrinsic value of being a 21-year-old girl. A 21-year-old guy doesn't have that intrinsic value. So as a guy, over the years, you develop more skills, you develop more of a personality, you develop more hobbies, you develop a stronger personality in general, and you become somebody that other people want to be around, somebody that other people want to rely on, and you create value for yourself. So I think that for a lot of guys, how many of you at this point, right, you were a loser whenever you were 20, and now you're 30 and you're not as much of a loser. Or at least on paper, you're not as much of a loser. You might still be just as much of a loser, but maybe now you have a nice car. You've got a nice house. Yeah, there's a lot of people, right? Or they're going in that direction. So I think that's what happens, is that especially for young guys, I think that this messaging is like extremely popular for guys under 25.
Republicans will not do shit. The Republican Party will not do shit. The establishment in general will not do shit to help
Is she wearing a glove on one hand?
Any of this. But the right is at least rhetorically offering men something other than nothing or the eternal HR department. Yeah. Every time this discourse...
And that's what I said before, right? Is that guys, especially young guys, just want to be aggressive and do whatever they want with no rules. So, like, that's why streams like Aiden Ross and Kai Cenat are so popular. That's why Ice Poseidon was so popular. That's why Jackass was so popular. That's why Bum Fights was so popular. And the next thing that guys get into, like the, 8-year-olds now that'll be 12 in like 4 years, it's also going to be psychotic. It's also going to be freakish. It's also going to be completely psychopathic. And they're going to love it. Because that's what people do. That's what guys do. And like, they don't want to get tone policed by a bunch of people that look like they're fucking teachers.
Comes up, there's people like, we need a leftist Andrew Tate. We need masculine role models on the left. But the fact is, it's hard for progressives to organically appeal to men because a large part of progressivism is oppressive hierarchies, and men are oppressors. Making progressivism look appealing to young men is an uphill battle from the start. And although it's funny to laugh at insane people on Twitter, as always, there have been a lot of left-wing content creators talking about men's issues. If you would have told me this would be a thing 9 years ago, I would not believe you, because anyone talking about men's issues back in the day was called an MRA or a pick-me. But lately I have seen a lot of good...
I thought pick-me was a girl thing. Oh, I guess, yeah, if you're talking about girls. Okay.
Pro-men, lefty content. And I'll put some links to some below. I don't agree with all the points they say, but I recommend watching. Yeah. It's much better than...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But the issue is a lot of this lefty pro-men content, it's always framed around, how do we get them? As if men are just pawns and tools for your personal politics. How do we
that's what they are.
Make the left more appealing to men? How do we stop lonely men from moving to Andrew Tate? Instead of just, how do we help men? And I think that's a really big issue. Both sides seem to treat men as political fodder. Disposable soldiers in the culture war and...
Well, that's actually kind of accurate. Whenever you think about it.
Real war. Anyway, misandry is real. Oh good! Finally! And while it doesn't systemically affect cis men, it most certainly affects trans men. Oh. Y'all talking about misandry doesn't harm men, and trans men are right there reading this shit, by the way. I see, now we only care about misandry because it affects trans men. Everyone stop! It's affecting a group I care about now. I love how the rhetoric just, like, evolved overnight from male tears to cis male tears. And I just have to ask.
Well, it's just psychotic people that are, you know, completely socially isolated that are on the internet. It's really annoying that Americans telling another American he doesn't deserve the same rights that he does. It's fucking alienating. To me, it doesn't bother me because, like, I see somebody say that to me. It's like, who the fuck are you? It's like, what do I care what this dude thinks? Yeah, I don't really take people seriously whenever they say stuff like that. It's like this is just like, this is an NPC in my life.
Why aren't you including trans men in your misandry,
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. We knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to, like, have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. What's hard is none of this.
Is that true? Like, I like, this is my personal, like, experience. I have, like, no problem building friendships with people. And this is, like, not related to stream at all. Like, it's just talking to somebody. Like, I'll talk to somebody like, so yeah, you play Halo? Like, yeah, I used to play it too, man. And then that's it. Yeah, I don't have a problem at all making friends with people. Rich, famous? No, I'm not talking. I'm just talking about, like, somebody I'll just, like, see if I go somewhere.
Invalidates
I
how real and raw women and
I don't
people
know
who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid, but I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men.
Welcome to being a man. Here's your complimentary isolation and yellow pillow. I love how even when he's experiencing the issues of being a man, he's like, this doesn't invalidate
that one felt a bit personal.
People hating men. Come on, bro. Men struggling don't want to be lectured about the patriarchy. They don't want to be told it's all their fault. They don't want to be told they're part of...
Well, the funny thing is that Andrew Tate and them tell you that it's all your fault too. Because you know what? It probably is. If you're in a bad situation, now there's some people that it's not their fault, but for the majority, if you're in a bad situation, it's probably because you put yourself there. But it's the perspective of how you get out of that bad situation and the tone behind it.
The problem, because first of all, they're not. The average 20-year-old didn't build society. They go to work, come home, off to sissy hypno fetish porn, and go to bed like everyone else. I've talked about this before, but a lot of men's value comes from the money they make, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Men are natural providers, and if they have nobody to provide for, they get into findom or send random girls on the internet money.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that do that. That's crazy.
I'm just kidding, but the fact is...
Like, the girl that invented findom is, like, so smart. I can't believe... Like, any of the girls that play into that and it actually works, I'm so impressed.
A lot of men simply feel like they don't have a purpose anymore. Whether a job or a career that's fulfilling and pays well...
There's also no religion. I think this is a big factor, right? Is it like, what do you do all of it for? You work hard so you can die? Okay. Well, then what? What's the point of it? I think religion plays a big factor as well. And that's why you see, like, a lot of guys, you know, now there's, like, a lot of conversation of dudes finding Jesus, getting into Islam, something like that. I think those are the main two right now.
Or a woman or family to protect and take care of and provide for. Men are lacking purpose, and a man will crawl through broken glass for a purpose. But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose?
Jeez. Oh, look at that.
No, not him.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
The absolute audacity to act shocked that Andrew Tate is scooping these guys up after a decade of lol male tears is insane. Andrew Tate isn't the solution to men's problems.
I hope not.
But he is talking to them. The fact is, you did not care about them for years. And even now, you just want to recruit them.
Well, the thing is, people want to, like, in terms of, like, politics, they just treating this as like it's a chess piece, right? It's like, well, if we can get more men to vote for us, then we can win and get more of the stuff that we want, right? There's no like real intrinsic goal here.
Help them. And that's why you will fail. And hey, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of the left. Men, listen up. Wash your penis. So I guess I'll leave you guys with a question.
Guys,
Why
I
do
think
you
we're
think
gonna
male
end this
loneliness
video.
has been increasing? What are your solutions for this problem? And are you dealing with loneliness? And I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.
Yeah, so I remember this girl got really popular on like 4chan in like the early 2010s. I remember seeing her posted on there all of the time. Because like at the time she kind of looked a bit like Boxy and people just went ape shit about it. Yeah. It was like right after that. Yeah, Gamergate. Yeah, 2014. Yeah, so she's been around for a while. How was your life growing up, mate? It was great. It was awesome. Every day was good. I hung out with my friends all the time. We played video games all the time. We got hot dogs at 7-Eleven all the time. I wish I could go back. It was so good. Yeah, she dates Trad Kath. I don't know. I'm just saying I think the video is really good. There it is. Give it a like if you liked it.